Hey guys, so I wanted to give you a little example of how to solve quadratic equations. And so if you looked at the videos that I gave you guys before, you'll know that a quadratic equation is a graph and it's always equal to a y. And so in order to solve it, we need to think about it as if there's a graph, because as you know, it kind of goes around like that. And there are 2 points where it connects to the y-axis. And so if it's hitting the the x-axis, not the y-axis. If it's hitting the x-axis, that means the y is at 0. So then if I make this equation to 0, I can then solve and find the 2 points by solving for x, which is basically what the zero product rule says anyway. So using the zero product property, make the equation to 0. Okay, so x squared plus 8x plus 15 equals 0. Now I would factor it like I would anything else. So multiply the first and last terms. First I'm going to make an x. There's a 1 coefficient in front of that x squared. Multiply that times 15, so that's going to be a 15. And then I put the 8 down below, and so I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply into 15 and add into 8. Well, I know that is 5 and 3. So then I can factor those 2 out by saying x plus 5 times x plus 3 equals 0. So if the whole equation multiplied together equals 0, then I can also separate these 2 factors to make them both equal to 0. And that's our step 4. Replace the center term with the 2 factored terms and make the factored form equal to 0. So I can say x plus 5 equals 0 or x plus 3 equals 0. So then I just basically solve these 2 problems. I subtract the 5 from this side and I put it on this side. So then it's x equals a negative 5. I subtract the 3 from both sides so that it's x equals a negative 3. And so then my 2 answers are x equals a negative 5 or negative 3. And so now I have a better idea of what my graph would look like. So if this is 0, 0, negative 3 would be right here. So this would be 1 point. 2 more would be here. That would be the negative 5. And so it would kind of look like this. All right, so let's look at one more problem. This is something that you will definitely see, that you will see a quadratic equation. It looks perfectly fine on one side, and then it'll have something on the other side of an equal, some number. And I'm just showing you this example because I don't want you to get tripped up. The only thing you have to do is move this negative 3 or whatever number that is back over here. And we know how to do that just by using basic algebra. So we go x squared minus 5x plus 1 equals negative 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So that will make it a 0. Minus 5x, so that'd be plus 4, and that equals 0, because 3 minus 3 is 0. So then now I just use my x method to solve for the rest of this. So I, of course, multiply the first and last terms. That would be a 4. And then we have a negative 5. Okay, so we have a negative sum, which means that both these factors have to be negative because we also have a positive multiple. So I know that 5, if you add 1 and 4 together, that would be a negative 5. But if you multiply negative 1 and negative 4, it would be a positive 4. So those are my factors. So then I can rewrite them. X minus 1 times x minus 4 all equals 0. And then like we did before, we separate these 2 terms out and make them both equal to 0. So x minus 1 equals 0 or x minus 4 equals 0. We add 1 to this side. So x equals 1 plus 4 over there. So x equals 4. So now we know that if we were to graph it, here's my 0. I know that 1 point crosses the x-axis at 1, and one point crosses the x-axis at 4. So it looks something like that. Maybe a little cleaner than that. But that would be it.